overcoming obstacles. So the running is really a metaphor for your life. And right now, you're sitting where I was, and I was at these running camps, and I was like, hey, I just want to run fast. I just want to make a team at a Division I college, which I ended up doing. And it was a lot of injuries as a precursor to get to that. But sometimes we don't see the big picture of all the things that running can help us with in our lives. So that's kind of the thing I want to sort of present at first, and then I want to open questions. Just to kind of preface my life, I started as an athlete. My first word as a kid was ball. I loved to play sports, just loved it. I was just going from one sport to the next, riding my bike from baseball to BMX biking to soccer. I couldn't get enough of it. So obviously in those sports, a lot of it was endurance, a lot of it was running the bases in baseball. I loved that. And so when I moved to West Virginia, where my father was from, there wasn't these other sports. And my father encouraged me to get into running. I thought it was the stupidest thing he'd ever thought about because there wasn't any point to it. It wasn't a game. And so I was very team-oriented, and this was something I could do for myself, and he encouraged me. We ran together, and then I started to get into it, as some of you now are well into it. And so there you go. And I started to get a lot of injuries from overtraining. I didn't know anything about the body. And so through this process of being injured, at first, you see it as a hardship, but then you realize, okay, those are the lessons you learn to keep you going. So the obstacle becomes the empowerment. And I had a scoliosis, a back pain, which is a curvature of the spine. It was 33 degrees. It came after high school. As a decent high school runner, not great, like a 9:32 miler or 4:22 in the mile, and I was ninth at the USATF, which was before it used to be called TAC. That's how old I am, almost 45. So, going through all these injuries and having this major injury of a scoliosis, when I went transferred from a junior college to the University of Florida, the doctors there told me I shouldn't be running, that I had an irregular spine. And I said, I was running healthy before. What happened? And, well, it was repetitive stress. As we see people doing in keyboarding today, where their keyboards are so fast as these Apple computers, the keys don't have resistance, so people are getting compression at the median nerve of the carpal tunnel, and they're having casts here and all these things. Well, we could release that tissue and release those muscles and get stronger. We didn't know how to rebalance the body back then. It was run more, run faster, run better. That was the era I was from. Now we have so much knowledge, people like Jay around, people like me that can help people get healthy. There's so much information. Before there wasn't. So I was a victim of that, repetitive stress, one way around a track, left-hand turn, shortening and breaking one side and lengthening the other. So I began to run looking like a pole vaulter. I was totally lopsided. And in that process of trying to get healthy, I luckily had parents that were willing to help me figure this out, and I went all around the country trying to find help, found this wonderful old-fashioned physical therapy, or study of the body, which is kinesiotherapy, and started to put my body back together. So I missed a lot of the collegiate running. I still was able to be on the team when we had great teams at University of Florida, where I went to school. We won the SEC Triple Crown and were second at Nationals. And we had a wonderful family, and times I wouldn't trade for anything. I'd call people on the phone, and those are things that you'll find as you work through a high school team, as you go into a college. Some of you will be college running. Those are relationships that you'll still have when you're older like me, when you got gray hair. And this spring, I was able to go down to Florida Relays for our 20-some-year reunion and see those old people, and it's just amazing to catch up with people. So what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of lessons to learn. If I would have stopped, if I would have listened to information that wasn't completely correct and find another way. So it's the power of belief, as we saw Wesley there. It goes beyond religious affiliations or ethnicities. It's about belief. And that's what running teaches us. All that hard work, determination, all that sacrifice is all the stepping stones to, I feel, being a better person. And it teaches us that, hey, there's nothing we can't overcome in our lives, whether it be our family, our friends, things that we can work out. Because in a race, there's two things happening. There's an I can going on, I can do this, and then there's an I can't do this, right? How many of you have had pre-race anxieties? Okay, all right? So it's a great example, and we'll talk more about that. So I want to kind of open the forum here, just to kind of go back. I was able to, through flexibility and strength training, realign my spine. It came within a year and a half out of pain. I worked hard at it, 3 to 5 hours a day, correcting my body and learning these doctrines, and then got to where I never thought I would get to because I was injured in college and became a national class marathoner. I got to run with the best people in the world through becoming a therapist and travel with them. This is, as I was saying before, my 6th Olympic period. I've worked with hundreds of medalists, Olympic medalists. My father was the first therapist to travel with track and field athletes. We've been all over the world sharing this work. This work is done in most all countries where track and field is. There's adaptations of it from the flexibility aspect that we saw a little bit of today to the strengthening aspects of it for prevention and recovery. So it's been a fun journey. I got to spend, in 1998, I think was my first time to Kenya. I went to Kenya 3 times. I spent 4.5 months living with Moses Tanui, and Moses Tanui was a 2-time Boston Marathon champion and world champion and second in world cross country, so one of the great runners of all time, him and Paul Tergat. I lived with them for 4.5 months in the camps. I got to go all over the Rift Valley and learn so much, but the main thing I took away from that, not the 140 miles a week hard and all that stuff that we all do as marathoners, but it was the friendships and the overcoming. Once again, I was there as a runner that wouldn't have been there for my therapy because I wasn't good enough to just go to Kenya, and I never was a full-time runner. But in a short amount of time, I was always able to get to that level through hard work and belief and trust in the programs that I was under and the coaching that I was under. So a lot of great lessons. I'd just like to open the forum to questions, but I wanted to kind of preface a little bit of my story. Right now I live in a farm in Pennsylvania, and I've lived all over the world with athletes, actually being with them, help people break world records like Khalid Kanuchi, a lot of the Nike athletes that you see out there, people like Lopez Lamong, lived with him for several years when we were in Flagstaff together and helped him come from a very good collegiate athlete to a world class and an Olympic finalist, 9th in the Olympic final. And just recently work a lot with broken down athletes over the years. So for the last 25 years, if there's an athlete that's been in pain or haven't been able to been helped by normal protocols, they send them to us, my father and I in our clinic in New York, or to me, and we help them get back through all these simple solutions for difficult problems that you're going to learn this week. So please be informal. I'd like to get a chance to know everybody. It'd be a really fun week. We're in the training mecca of the universe, one of the training meccas in the universe. When I was just a little older than you all and same age as some of the counselors, we just wanted to get to Boulder. That was what we wanted to do. And living in Gainesville, which was another mecca, in the 70s, though if you've heard, the Florida Track Club was a place just like the Oregon Track Club. Was great, and everybody was there, from Frank Shorter, the gold medalist, to Jack Batchelor, and these amazing athletes. So we, in high school and college, I got to be around the best in the world. And I start to watch them and see what makes them the best. And so you pick up little things. So don't be afraid to shadow people, ask questions, because there's subtleties to performance. So I kind of wanted to talk today and open the forum to think about, and the platform would be the art of performance. There's the pragmatic things that we know we have to do. You know, every day we got to get up as the sun rises, like they say in Africa. You better be running, or you're going to get eaten. You know, and that's what I love about that idea of the African runner. And it's not about the Africans, but I love how they break it down very simply. And so I've got a lot of fun stories about being with them, about following Moses. When Moses knew me, when I came in there to study the marathon with him, he said, "Philip, the only way I can help you is you follow me. the marathon